Karyn Bryant for MMA H.E.A.T. I'm here with Bernard Hopkins. This man is a class act in the boxing ring. We're here at your gym for the UFC Open workouts. What do you make of MMA and how much people like to compare the two sports, MMA and boxing?
Well, first of all, I love the MMA and I love the UFC because it's a sport within itself, because it separates, I think, the styles and the way they train from boxing. And to me, boxing is a more of a craftsmanship of being more patient to get your target, eventually execute. The MMA is you deal with the ground, the floor rather, and then you deal with the fighting on your feet. And there's a lot of things you can do in that type of sport that we can't do in boxing. So I really think it's two different sports where they should be respected differently. But I must say that they took some of our fans. Yeah. And so I don't like that. Right. But in the same token, you can't hate the game to be a part of it, and I'm a part of it. I always, I wasn't always with the game, but I've learned and it grew on me because I've seen and met a couple of guys that train here to respect what they do, and they respect what I do. So, and look, one thing about UFC and MMA, it's the real deal. It's no phony blood. It's no learning how to jump off the rope and roll and pretend you're hurting somebody. This is not wrestling. This is the real deal. And I can go on air and record and say that I got mad respect for what they do. Nice,
very nice. Well, and the truth of it is, too, is you can't be a good MMA fighter, a complete MMA fighter, without being a great boxer. You know, you've got to get that in there. So I'm interested, though, when you're watching MMA, do you kind of cringe at some of the boxing skills these guys have? Is there a few things you'd love to show them how to do a little better?
Yeah, the one thing I do see, I would like to show them certain things that I see that they don't do well on their feet, as far as the boxing part of it. A lot of elbows is too wide, ribs are exposed, and a lot of hands are down to the waist because they're looking to get leverage when they kick, obviously. But you got to have a little piece of everything in their sport to be competitive, because you can't have your hands too high because you can get kicked in the stomach, you can kick there. So I do understand why it's like that. It's a lot going on. But yeah, I do see some things that I can actually, like, you know, they say throw your 2 cents in and let them know, like, you know, keep your chin down a little bit. You're too straight up in the air, your chin too straight up. And try to use the jab to set up the left foot or left leg or left jab or left right hand. So it's a little ins and out that I can do to enhance the ability.
Did you happen to see the fight when James Toney took on Randy Couture? And if so, what did you think of that?
I seen the submission. I seen James Toney saying, wait a minute, what the hell I get myself into? I don't believe no boxer can beat not only a UFC or MMA fighter, but he don't even have to be a UFC or MMA fighter, a champion. Anybody that's from experience will always be a problem for any boxer, because they are trained to do things that we are trained not to do. And when the ground start being effective, somebody's going to be getting hurt, and that won't be the MMA or the UFC guy. It's two different worlds, two different mentalities. There's no successful boxer I know that's been successful beating any of those type of athletes because of what they do and what we do. But we all have one thing in common, and that is to do all we can do and work very hard to be the best. And a lot of that is the same equipment, the same mentality, but the skills and the way we are trained and the way we execute is totally different than boxer versus MMA or UFC.
Yeah. You know, our show is called MMA H.E.A.T, and H.E.A.T stands for heart, endurance, aggression, and technique. And obviously, those are the things I think the best fighters need. For you right now, Bernard, I want to talk about endurance. You're still going, you're still boxing, you're still so good. What do you think it is about you, either mentally or physically, that's made you endure so long in the game?
Lifestyle, and also being a person that even in the times where it's justified to celebrate in a way that mostly people do celebrate, whether it's the NBA championship and you popping champagne, all that. I refrain from things that is accustomed to winning. What I have stuck to is the things I've done for many years in my 20s, and then eventually my 30s, and now in my early 40s. Mid 40s, but it's a thing where lifestyle. I'd invested in myself like I would invest my money. If you put anything in at the bank, you're gonna have interest. If you put it in the right CDs, right bonds, you look to have something later on. So I took that same philosophy and added to my life and my lifestyle, and that's where I'm getting the interest of what I've done 10, 15, 18 years ago. And, you know, I'm not a guy that say that my talent is just all that I needed to get here, because then I would be a fool to think that way. But it was a lot of things that I had to do and a lot of things I had to invest and have patience and learn how to duck when it's time to duck. Played a major role in Bernard Hopkins fighting near 47 in January of next year.
And your next fight is with Chad Dawson.
Yes.
And so I was there.
15th.
Okay, October 15th. Yeah, now I was there when he won his title. He was such a young man, showing a lot of skill. What are the challenges when you face someone like Chad, who's got a lot of reach, long arms?
It's real linky.
Yeah.
It's real linky.
And he's a lefty.
He's a lefty, and I'm 12-1 on my record with lefties. And the one fight was with Joe Gazaki, which was a split decision to him. But the challenges are, could be major, is not actually Chad Dawson, which is a physical challenge, but it's his teacher. And I said teacher, not trainer, Emmanuel the Great Steward. And I say the Great Steward because of the people he trained over the years, and also the wisdom and the knowledge that he have. So not only do I have two puzzles that my corner and I have to overcome, is that Emmanuel Steward will bring the best out of Chad Dawson, and I will be fighting and beating the best of Chad Dawson because of who he have in his corner as the teacher. So just that alone with Emmanuel Steward is something that I would never underestimate what he brings to the table with this fighter. And so I have to beat Chad Dawson in the ring as the rounds goes to beat Emmanuel Steward. And so I must show panic. I must make them show panic amongst each other, and then take care of business. So it's going to be challenging, because I know he's going to have them resistance everything I do. They're going to study. Emmanuel watched me many years behind the commentating booth, and I'm ready for it.
Awesome. Well, I got to say, Bernard, it's been a pleasure watching you over the years, and I love that you're still getting better and still evolving. It's a real joy to see. So thank you very much.
Yep. I'm not going to get a haircut for a month. I want to look real old. My grade's coming in.
It's all right. It's cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's great.
Me.